How about that?
Say, all right, Paul, here we are, buddy.
Here we go. It's media day over here at Rosentech Labs. We're checking out Mr. D's harvest for 2023. Mr. D, good to have you on here.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's you know, it's good to do something a little different with you this year. I know we're going on our second year in our relationship, and this is fantastic. New round of flavors. How long have you been growing?
Well, I had a background in the surf and skate snowboard business, and when the retail aspect of those sports collapsed in, say, 2000, and I don't know if I want to say it like that, but you know, whatever.
Slowed down to...
Okay, I'll say it differently. Okay, so after the background I had in the surf, skate, and snowboard business and ties I had to people who had farms in Humboldt County, I decided it was when I'd move full-time under the 215, working with dispensaries in a commercial grade cultivation. And that was around 2010. So at that point in time was when the early days, and I went into the pre-licensing situation as early as 2017. So it's funny, my mind goes all over because you smoke a dab and then you have the interview thing. But here we go.
Yeah,
so
no, you're good. Just
if you really want to answer when I started cultivating, it was basically finding some seeds when I was a kid, and my parents had gardens. And what I decided was I rode motorcycles up in the hills in the North Valley in LA, and I'm going to go put a couple seeds up in the hill out in Santa Clarita, other place, different environment. I tried out there in a canyon out there, and basically we had seeds that were basically like the early train wreck. Occasionally we get a blueberry train wreck.
Was it successful?
The first year I actually had deers eat my plants. So the deer came, and then later you go. So it was kind of like an unknowing guerrilla growing type of thing, but it was unknowing. And then later, as I got more into the commercial scale, it's because I was super interested in the terpene profiles of plants and how the cannabis plant had terpenes that paralleled nature. An example being like linalool is a terpene in lavender, and I found that in the several strains that I was creating seeds of. So that led me into wanting to do it full time, and that's pretty much the origin of my cultivation time. Yeah. Nice.
That's good to know. That's been quite some time. So you also breed your own genetics and make your own seeds. When did that come about at your point?
Well, I was out there in the hills, and we were trying to create strains that were different because there was, you know, some rare candy and fruity strains that people had, but that really wasn't the market. The market was all OG. So I had some of the original cuts of the SFV OG, and after cloning a lot of plants, the thing threw a little pollen sac and pollinated some really good strains. So I really started breeding immediately from the time I went to Humboldt County.
Got it. Okay. And you know, your goal for breeding then was for what exactly?
Really, I've been fortunate to work with Mario through a friend, and had the original Gelato 41 up in Humboldt, and people didn't even really know what it was or want it. Also the sherbet, and at that time it was cookies, you know, was really big in popularity. But we had the really good OG, and I thought, well, you know, pretty simple idea is just to cross all those to the OG, and I had an agreement not to like put those out or do anything, and it was mostly anyway we were growing just for flavors that were different, and it ended up taking a couple years till people really realized what we had, and that would be in like the early True Humboldt days. going licensed.
Nice. And this is Mario from Shabinsky's.
Yeah, Mario is like a friend of a friend, and the original time he came up to my farm, and we had some mix light running for a dispensary in SoCal, and Mario came out. I was shaping agave surfboards in my garage, and I probably was like his 7th or 9th post or something was me shaping the boards.
Nice.
So that was another aspect of yeah.
So
Anyway.
has the goal of breeding now kind of shifted more towards hash, or do you feel like you're still more flower forward of a breeder?
Well, basically, Happy Dreams, what I do is I work with farms across the state of California in the licensed market, and what happens is I have an array of strains that have been bred in climates that work really well in different parts of the state. So I have strains like Cherry Gas, going to be grown in LA, and some indoors, big brand, Maven Genetics. They've been back in the Happy Dreams program for several years now, and that's mostly flower. And then other farms, you have like Full Moon Farms up in Humboldt. He has several different microclimates that he works with, and the same as myself. So what happens is I have certain strains that'll work really good in flower and indoor environments along with outdoor, but I prefer to do living soil, unique strains grown with minimal to zero watering and feeding to create like really clean medicine. And some of the strains I like to do is I like to try other people's stuff. Like we ran a bunch of papaya balm, Purple City Genetics, the Benzina. Those are both these ones I have open right here because I've been smelling on those going, man, these are good.
Yeah, Benzina.
So what happens is sometimes you get a larger yield, and it's going to work into the commercial market to hit these price points, because our thing is we want to have really top quality, but we want to fit the price point of the consumer that we felt when we were younger, or kids ourselves, because back when people had a 20 bag or a 20 bags got to last you, so you can't overspend in this environment. In Willow Creek, basically in the Humboldt Trinity area that I'm working with. So in the future we can start doing different collabs than maybe anyone else has done before, where we bring all of us together to link some really good farms that have some really good genetics that now basically are becoming almost proven staples for that environment.
Yeah, that would be really good, and like selling clones based off of like climate resistance or seed and things of that sort would definitely take it to the next level. And I mean, I think agriculture as a whole has gotten to that point, right? And so it's not too crazy to think we can't do the same with cannabis.
Yeah, so my goal is to have like some of the strains I have to be into the nurseries around the state. So currently I just work with one really good one, and those maybe 5 strains can be purchased by other farms and get the same strain. But what I have is always a next step, a next step, a next step. So when you pick up something, say that you got with Valley Grove and it was Leo from Aficionados sour, you're like, that can be at a bunch of different farms, and sometimes you see that one crushed it at Valley Grove, right? But maybe that gets into a different environment and it just does okay. So what I like to do is run different people's genetics at different farms along with different license holders, so that in the future, we're working with Mendocino Grasslands, and maybe there'll be a Happy Dreams Rosentech Mendocino Grasslands combo. So Happy Dreams Farm is also Happy Dreams Genetics. So the genetics that I produce will be really unique and small to the market, but they'll be with key farms throughout the state that have survived all of the rigorous compliance and what have you to get where they're at. So love that they can carry the torch as well as others and unite some of the craft farms into a brand like your guys' selves. That's a craft brand. You know, you're producing higher end, smaller batch product to the consumer at what some might call a scale, but it's saturating into a market of demand with the price points. And I think that's really crucial for the market that we're in right now.
It is, you know, and we're seeing a market trend totally, you know, shift that way. The numbers show it on the dispensary level, where people are, you know, basically putting a hard line on their purchase, you know, and saying we can find good hash at this level. So, you know, it's really good to be able to team up with you guys over at Happy Dream Farms and, you know, provide a super high quality product that's grown in living soil, you know, for the market, you know, for the mass. That's what it is. We're in the most competitive state in the legal market here in the States.
We want to keep bringing you unique strains, proven strains people are asking for, strains that we develop together, and based on the fact that those are terpenes that I stand behind, that you guys stand behind. So bringing in unique products like the Wakanda, which is a Nigerian haze purple punch.
So let's talk
in the
really
market
quick
itself.
About the Wakanda.
Yep.
Where, you know, that's a fan favorite, definitely. You know, 2022, and it's making its rounds again.
There it is.
For 2023, it's making a strong case for best green box out there. And I do gotta say, how did you come about getting the Wakanda? Is that something you bred? Did you trade? How did that come about?
No, the Wakanda is just something that me as a grower really thought, wow, this is something unique. And I had smelled it from a veg plant on another friend's farm. And I sourced it from where they got it, which was just one of the open, available, good, well-run California nurseries in the state. And they got their metric teens, as did we. And it's just one that I believe that wherever this came from, that Nigerian haze in there is just amazing, you know. So well, Happy Dreams Genetics, you know, didn't have anything to do with this, but Happy Dreams Farm will gladly support and back this to bring this out to people, because it's fire.
I agree. It's fire. It yields really well. The texture is fantastic. The terpene, you know, percentage is really high. You know, it checks off all the boxes as far as like what a really good hash strain is, not to mention it brings a very unique flavor profile to the market. Can we expect to see maybe some breeding projects in the future with that plant, if there aren't any already in the works?
Yeah, I'm kind of switching currently towards some other type of land-raised strains that do have those flavors and scents to keep respect to the breeder of the Wakanda, which as I scratch my eyebrow, I'm not really sure who that is currently. Google it, but
you know, so this first round of lineup that we have here, you know, we have Papaya Bomb, we have the Motor Breath, we have the Zerial, the Wakanda as mentioned earlier, we have the Trop Cherries, and the Benzina, you know, and we decided to go cold cure this year, and you know, I can honestly say amazing job all around, you know, great farming, you know, the hash is only as good as the farmer, and I gotta say you guys did a fantastic job this year, you and your team.
Yeah, we owe it all to the team. Yeah, we have a lot of different projects happening, and the team really crushed it this year.
Nice. It's good to the product speaks for itself. What are you looking forward to this year the most out of any of the strain that you put on the ground this year?
For me, I have the glazed lemon tie out there, which that I tried a couple years ago, crossing the Chem Dog to the Hindu Kush.
Beautiful.
And then that Chem Dog to the Hindu Kush to a lemon tie. So a female lemon tie to a male Chem Dog Hindu Kush, and that was originally named from a friend who you know, has an organics regenerative farm out in Oklahoma. and he had been at the farm, helped pollinate some of the plants, had a couple of the seeds. And yeah, I don't know if we should tell this whole story. Oklahoma, but let's say, here we go. Glazed lemon Thai, yeah, that thing is amazing. I had a partner farm who basically grew it. It was extremely mold resistant. He was basically my original tester. And Pink Granite Tish, shout out to him, Keith out there. And we named it, he named it basically with me, Glazed Lemon Thai, because it just made sense. And when we ran it out here in California, you know, at the Happy Dreams farm, right away it's really stood out. And a couple farms up in Humboldt have it, and they're all claiming it's really good for yields, for low elevation, mold resistant, incredible terpenes, and still really mold resistant, which helps down in like cooler, by growing in cooler environments where the high temperature might only be in the 70s. You're really growing the terpenes, and they're not getting baked in the sun, and they're not getting overheated and evaporating, and you can get probably a better terpene whole plant, like some of the really volatile terpenes or the terpenes that are rare sometimes will make it through, because the temperatures of harvest you do in the cooler part of the day, the temperatures of the highest temperature of the plant growing, and then really harvesting it at the right time. That's the key to the product that you guys have here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, when it comes to, you know, harvesting at the right time, what do you recommend to any farmer out there to look for when it comes to harvesting strains for hash? Like, what is your number one key indicator? Well,
you know, I'm still a person who really believes you want to have some ambering of the trichomes. A lot of people are like, pull it early, clear trichomes, lighter color. Yeah, there's a benefit to pulling it early, but if you can wait a little bit and get some of that aging, like a cigar, you know, is brown tobacco that ages, and it develops a more full-bodied flavor. So if you can let your trichomes go till they're almost like just below like perfect flower grade harvest, which is a little bit later than some people. So we aren't really in the fight to try to be the whitest rosin. You know, we're trying to have strains that have the best flavor, and some of those flavors and terpenes, they come out a little bit darker. And if dark caramel color, not even, the beautiful colors here. But you'll get
fantastic.
You know, you'll get a better, you know, in fact, I'm even believe temple balls, you know. It's a
very mature flavor. You know, the terpenes have had its time to fully develop, and I feel like the cannabinoids tend to be a little higher around that point, right? With more mature trichomes. Not all, but some definitely tend to spike, I feel like, with more of a mature trichome. But I wholeheartedly agree with your comment there. You know, it's not all about the color. Pulling too early, if you're a hash connoisseur, you can immediately tell when a strain was pulled too early. It's just all in the flavor, and the true flavor of the actual strain is masked by this like fresh green, you know, palette, which, you know, at that point it's like.
Well, I got to do a shout out to back Frenchie Cannoli, you know, would come up to Humboldt, and he would come out onto the dry farm and the floodplain, and had a hill spot and a place out on the dry farm in Holmes, and worked with a lot of different places in the Eel River Valley. Currently the partner in Santa Barbara, you know, farmed in that area as well. And what we found is that, like Frenchie said, it's the flavor of the soil. You know, so living soil, which we were always trying to do to be, you know, healthy, organic, regenerative. originally dry farming, I was actually afraid to like the plants wouldn't make it even though I'd seen the people's watermelons make it or their cantaloupe or their tomatoes.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. So I had hoses and I used to say, oh yeah, those are there for insurance in case the plants, but I never used them. And then I was an avid believer in dry farmed for several years. And now what we're trying to do is we do a mix of like a soil that's a quality of the living soil, regenerative, grown with cover crops and the whole manner, but we, because in the heat spikes that occur with the nature and possible global warming, whatever, we keep, we keep water readily available in case you want to do a section that's going to be clones. Clone strains get a little bit wider root mass, and they won't really do as well in dry farming conditions. So it's like a minimal watering. What I do now is different farms do different things. Yeah. And I like to do all the different things. I like to be involved in all aspects of the plant, the way the people are growing the plant, and the way we can get it to look like this, so that really we can, the main thing we're here doing is smoking dabs, right? And
I mean,
and man, what would you grab first? And you go, it's a really hard choice because all of these have just come out so good. Got to give you a shout out for that one. Working with Rosentech's been awesome. And we have a really good product here, fired up. I keep looking at them, I was just going, wow.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be very hard to choose a favorite this year. And again, credit to the farmer. It all starts with you guys. Yeah.
So I'm really excited that you guys are going to be running the apple custard. The apple custard was a strain, was a sister to the vanilla frosting I bred in 2018. Through that, it was picked out as wild green apple terps immediately. In veg stage, as it went to flower, it still had it. As it dried, cured, and even the stuff that was frozen and washed, we're like, wow. So that's like a really rare terpene, Farnese. And basically, that is going to be in that, also in the cherry gas. So hopefully we'll be getting out there pretty soon the Cherrylicious strain, and the Cherrylicious hopefully come back and do the same test with that, because the Cherrylicious is the cherry frosting crossed to the cherry gas, and that's going to have like a really, my original cherry frosting was like a real cherry leaning kind of cakey-ish from the vanilla frosting family hunt. And then that was crossed to the cherry gas, which the cherry gas was where the cherry gas was the Sunset Sherbet crossed to the Triple OG that I made, and then back crossed to cherry frosting to make the Cherrylicious. So it's going to be the cherry gas hits really hard. It's got gassy, high OG, really high numbers in not just the THC levels, but in the terpenes and the myrcene, off the chart at some farms. So I'm really excited about that one, coming back for that one.
Nice.
I really like to take a little rip of this papaya bomb. Just shout out to Purple City Genetics for putting out good product. The Habibi.
Let's do it.
We're going to be rare on that one.
Let's take a dab break, everybody.
So I'm going to cruise up to LA City to my friend's indoor up there, and like I told you, that's kind of like one of my goals is I got to get a farm in SoCal that I can like go to and access that can run like nursery grade stuff to then feed to the other farms, and when I get the copies from, like, I have this candied grapefruit and I have a garlic slurry that I have the like chosen pheno winners in Humboldt and Trinity right now, like Soul Spirit Farms and stuff. And what it'll do, it'll open up more connections. So as you guys get growth and stuff, maybe my goal is to be like the Humboldt LA hotline vibe. And then we're going to talk about maybe like helping like whoever, Redwood Roots or someone that I'm friends with. Like, you guys should really, like, everyone's going to need to like team up or something somehow.
It's going to go from Mr. D to Mr. B, and the B stands for broker.
No, I don't want a broker. What I want to do is I want to get it to where these farms have my different genetics, right? So then all of a sudden, instead of having like 25 good ones, I have like 40 or whatever strains, and then those strains I'll be at this shows internationally in the future or statewide, where I can sell the seeds, on a...
What you're really going to have to do, though, is you're going to have to put both all the genetics through the ringer. Like, how does it look in the flower form?
Yeah.
How does it look in?
Well, that's what I have. Is I have like tent guys get the glazed lemon tie, and then I gotta probably head out pretty quick. But what I do is I have like a file, for each freaking strain.
Really?
And then I can put out, so like here's the garlic slurry. The first two I got were it's a video or a picture, and then the flower, which isn't good enough yet, to like use.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
So like I was saying, what I have is like glazed lemon tie here. I have 17 pictures and different things. So when it goes to market, I'll be bombarding the original tester plant right there.
Beautiful. Oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be so good to add to
the structure.
And then these ones, so they're like guys that grew it indoor. So then I have these pictures of it indoor, and if someone might critique it and says, but I say it's fucking internet.
Would you like to try?
Accessible internet.
It's
usable.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. The assets are definitely here. This is great.
So then I have like
You wanted the papaya bomb, right?
That one's the better one.
It's all good.
Oh, and here.
So I got a question for you, Mr. D.
Just give me a little mini dab. I gotta drive now and go on to the next step.
Yeah. Fair enough.
What were you gonna say as a question?
I'll let you take your dab and then.
Look at that one. See, and that's a little too early for how I like it.
I got
Ready? Wow.
There you go.
That's a good one. Glazed lemon tie. Oh no.
That was papaya bomb.
Did it on purpose. So we have a funny shot. Link into the glazed lemon tie footage.
Right.
Next time. Then you have too many files. So I have all these fucking files for all these different strains that I've made. So
really quick question about the business, because I know a lot of people do it, but you've been in the game for quite some time. You've done a lot of things in your life.
Are we off camera?
No, we're on camera.
Okay.
But you're running a farm. You're running a distribution business for fresh frozen, for genetics. You're creating seeds, but you also run an Instagram page. You run two that I'm aware of. You're really good at it, and you're also pretty good at Photoshop. Like, how do you find the time to do all of this?
It's a fine balance it's an art. First off, we don't have a distribution. There's somebody doing that position, and basically I'm working with farms to get the right product into the market by utilizing the proper genetics. And so it isn't that me has to touch every aspect of it like back in the day. When we ran so I'm basically focusing on the genetics and the pictures of the plants to show people what they are, and then back it up with test results, and then in this case, having rosin.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. And then
how do I find the time? It's hard to get, and I like to surf, so it's hard to go find time to go surfing.
Yeah, we're farming, brand managing, and surfing. It's life.
But yeah, all the years living in Humboldt, I did end up just working all year long. So I'm trying to find, as I mature into the space here of time, I want to have a little bit more freedom, flexibility to just really dissect the terpenes and what's going on in that. So that takes a lot of thought about the breeding and the proving that strain is going to work. So it's overseeing all of that. So yeah, I'm going to zip out here in a second. I got to head up to a friend's spot. I work with some other farms, and they're all in town for a big hash thing. So we'll see you tonight at the deal.
Sounds good, Mr.
Thanks
D.
for having me out.
Appreciate it.
Good times.
Always.
Happy dreams made from seeds.
Hey.
Rosin Tech.
Appreciate
Hitting
you.
it big.
Yeah. Collaboration 2023. Let's go.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanks for coming, man. It's always fun.